This conference will now be recorded.
All right, so today is Wednesday, February 20th, and as always, everything that we're going to be talking about today is for educational purposes only, and nothing is intended as any type of investment advice. All right, so number one thing going on out there is CVS. As we can see coming into this morning, we took a very, very big dip. We closed sitting here at 69.88. As of right now, we're coming down towards that 63.50 level, but the most interesting show of hand that we've seen this morning by far is coming right back here towards that 64. Okay, we can see at that 64, we had a whole bunch of bid prints come into it. And remember, I don't mind. I know covering is going to come in. It's taken a huge hit so far. We're down basically about $7, give or take. And looking at it, we know we're going to have covering coming back into that 64, but it's going to be that new selling that we really care about. So 64, we can obviously see that it did not pull up even close to the amount that I would be expecting it to from that 64 and the amount of prints that we saw coming back in. And then looking at it, coming down to it, we can see 63.50. So 64 and 63.50 now. Right now, we have both levels have bid prints coming back into them. So we should definitely see a pretty substantial pull up coming back into this before we end up seeing it come back down. Right as of right this second, 62.50 is going to be our price target, just based off the fact that our 5s and 250s miners for the longer term trades that we see coming back in, and then basically just the prints we have at 64 and 63.50 should at least get us that dollar after we see that pull up come back into it. You can also see coming down underneath that 64, we have selling that came in right under. So we have everything that we need coming back into it now, which is going to be a matter of making that pull up and then giving us that trigger back down. And that's about, well, besides that, KNDI is another one looking at this morning. Now, there's not really that much that we see going on out there, but KNDI, it's funny because this is one of the original stocks. I know you guys were talking with Pritesh last week when I had one of I forget what day it was, but you guys were going off, favorite stocks that you would trade during, towards the beginning and stuff like that. And KNDI was one of mine. This stock used to be such a great trading stock every single day. And I mean, we're talking about Jesus, 8, 9 years ago coming back in. My daily's not going to let, but it used to be a pretty decent trading stock. I mean, the range within itself, the prints, everything was really good with it. But coming into it right now, you can see there's not as much buying around that 750 as I would like to see. We do have a little bit that came in over, you can see after we kind of pulled back from that 750, but it didn't really pull back from anything. It just kind of floating around a little bit. So we're going to need to see some better prints coming into there. Just not as much new buying as I would like to see at that 750. But based off of everything else that we have going on out there today, it's just not a ton. So it's not going to be a side list stock. It's going to be a regular stock just because the list is so small. But usually I would not be too happy with this just based off, once again, just not really getting that real buying as we were coming back up. So we could see 6 had good buying, but that was a long time ago. All right, there's just not as many big prints as I would like to see coming into this morning. So we're going to keep an eye on it, but once again, unless we really get that new buying to come in, especially for such a cheap stock, we're going to end up seeing it just kind of sell off once the market opens. All right, nice little burst that just came in, but once again, just want to see a lot more that's coming in. All right, and overall, let's take a look at our scanners, but that's pretty much it. I don't really see too many things going on out there. So KNDI, we already know about. CLSD, just completely to the side. There's just not really much going on there whatsoever. WORX, absolutely nothing. We can see the volume just very, very low, just not really a ton going on there. LYG 128. The 1,000, absolutely nothing there. And then anything with a .C usually is never going to be a trade. And then VICL, 106,000 shares, but nothing going on there either. Roku had a ton of buying at 54 late in the day, sitting right there, so keep it on your charts. All right, beautiful. Slow list. We'll put Roku on there. Yeah, as of right this second, not doing too much. We have a little selling that came in at 54, so I would expect a little bit of a pull up before coming back down. Actually, we'll go over that because that's a beautiful looking trade right now. Okay, reason beautiful looking trade. So we have a little bit of selling that came in at that 54 level, and we can see yesterday you have big buying coming in at 54 as well. So basically what this tells us is that these are shorter term prints coming back in. What we're going to be looking for is a pull up coming from it, and then you have to understand that 54 55 is a huge psychological level, so it's going to be a very hard level for this thing to be able to break. So as of right this second, just based off of those prints coming in at 54, we're going to be looking for a pull-up to come towards that 55 level, and then a nice trigger coming back to satisfy those prints before we eventually are able to get back up there and break that 55. So I actually really, really like what we see going on there. All right, moving over to the loser side of things, we have SNNA, 111,000 shares, absolutely nothing. CVS, we already know about. We have AI, 504,000, but just completely consolidated and moving to the side. And then NRZ, nothing. In Solo, 306,000, but not really much going on there either. So it's kind of it's a pretty slow morning so far, but things are, certainly going to pick up. The few other things that we do want to keep an eye on as well, just from yesterday, is remember PCG. Now, PCG is it really hasn't fallen as much as I would have liked to see it overall, but we do have buying at 18 and 18.50. So just something that you do want to keep an eye on. We could see yesterday move $2.38 on average, about $1.50. So overall, still another thing that I'm going to be paying close attention to, but just keep in mind, remember, I am not satisfied with how much this thing has actually fallen from those ask prints at 18 and 18.50. So another one that we should really keep a close eye on, especially with the way that it's been moving as of late. And other than that, guys, I think that's about it. I mean, there's not really anything else that I see on our scanners that show us much. Let's take a look at Riot real quick, though. Riot making a nice move yesterday, and absolute garbage. All right, other than that, not much else. Anything else out there that I missed? I think that is about it. All right. Okay, so let's get ready for the morning. Like I say, there's not a ton of stuff for us to be looking at, so, it's going to take a little bit more of work, just like it always does when we don't have much going on during the pre-market. But once the market opens, we should certainly expect a lot more than what we saw coming into yesterday. Yesterday ended pretty early and just didn't see many moves. So like I said, just certainly expect a lot more from there. All right, one other thing, just remember, and just keep in mind, make sure you send those trades from this morning. There's no better way to learn from a losing trade than to go over it. So I'm not only going to go over those trades, but once again, kind of teach you guys how to look and analyze for your journal, so that once again, these things just don't happen over and over again, and we can kind of understand what we're doing wrong and how to fix that. All right, guys, so I will talk to everyone in the chat. I'll see everyone else in Traders Exchange at 12:30, and happy trading.